Hey everybody, it's Nancy Norbeck. I am here with this week's Creative Pep Talk, and somewhat building on last time when we talked about resolutions and how to rethink them, I want to rethink and redefine normal. So a lot of the time we get in our own way because we think that what we're doing is not normal. And in particular, and this is certainly not the only case, but the one that comes to mind to me immediately is the idea that we have to do something a certain way, particularly if you're a writer, you have to write every day. If you've spent any time online or in writing communities, you will hear this all the time. It is a form of gatekeeping, and if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you will know that it's one I don't approve of because I think it's a load of hooey. So if you think that that's normal, and you think that every day you have to spend time writing, and it's certainly not just writing. My sister-in-law, who's an artist, tells me it's just as common in that world, and I'm sure that it exists everywhere else. And sometimes it exists only in our own heads. But if you think that that's normal, and for whatever reason, you cannot sustain a daily writing practice, you will start to beat yourself up, believe that you are not good enough, believe that you're not meant to do whatever the creative thing is that you want to do, and decide that you should give up. Who wins here? Nobody. Except the people who like gatekeeping because it makes them feel superior to everybody else. They win, but the rest of us, no. None of us wins anything when we do that to ourselves. We just lose. And the fact is, human beings are not machines. I know that seems self-evident, but ever since the Industrial Revolution invented the assembly line and the constantly functioning machine that turns out product after product the same way, reliably, over and over and over again, somehow we got it stuck in our heads that we should be like machines. But we're not machines. We are not made to work 24/7 without a break. I'm pausing so you can really feel that one, right? Even if you are not talking about a creative pursuit, how many of us go to work and think that we are supposed to work constantly, 24/7? Answer emails at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're supposed to be sleeping. Now, if you live in certain places like France, which has laws about this because they have some sanity, this may sound completely alien to you, but in the US, it is terrifyingly common. So, that's not normal and it's not healthy. And it's not good for you. We all need to take a break. The creative process is not a machine that runs infinitely as long as you put water, gas, whatever fuel you're using in the tank. In fact, part of the reason that you need to take a break is to refuel the tank, because it just doesn't work that way. You can't take your creative muse, your creative energy, down to the nearest gas station and say, fill it up, and keep going for another 500 miles with nothing more than the 5 minutes that it takes them to fill your tank. Right? You need time to do nothing. You need time to go for a walk, to play with your kids, to play a board game with your friends, to go to a concert, to visit a museum, to do any number of things, including just sitting down and doing absolutely bloody nothing. Nothing. I mean, really nothing. Your system needs time that is not dedicated to productivity. It needs time to absorb things from the outside world. It needs time to have fun, to have a laugh, to just take a load off. Even that perfect machine, I grew up hearing about the perpetual motion machine and how it was impossible. You know why it's impossible? Because nothing can run like that. Even machinery cannot run like that. Your car, you may fuel your car regularly every time it needs it, but that doesn't mean that it's never going to need service. Right? Machines can't even run on that consistent, constant, perpetual schedule. And human beings are not machines, so we certainly can't. So I would like us to redefine normal and to redefine the energy that we put into things, even when we love them, as an on-again, off-again thing. Today, You might really, really, really be inspired and have, 15 pages come out of you. Paint 3 paintings. I don't know what's realistic outside the writing world, but you may have a day like that. And you may have days where it doesn't come quite so easily, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. And you may have days when you just can't make it happen at all. And on the days when you can't make it happen at all, I'd like you to remember that normal is an off and on thing with human beings, creative process or not. And that those are the days when you need to give yourself a break. Maybe you need to take a nap. Maybe you need to read a book or watch a movie or, get together with friends. Anything else. Because your brain needs a chance to recharge. It needs a break. It's how it refuels itself. And it's also how you get new information for new ideas. We cannot constantly work in a vacuum. So I hope that you will think about this idea. And I'm certainly not saying, oh, you could just blow off your stuff all the time, because we all lose when we do that too. We're the ones who lose. The rest of the world doesn't care, but we lose when we don't do our creative work. But we need to do it in a way that's sustainable and healthy. I am, for the umpteenth time, going to put my favorite article about this called Writing Begins with Forgiveness in the show notes for you, because there's a reason why I love it. And you'll see, and it goes really, really well with this idea that normal is not necessarily perpetual work. So, with that, I hope you'll give yourself a break, mentally, physically, in all possible forms, especially when you really need it. And I will see you next time.